Welcome to Reports from Arbroath. This episode is brought to you by Warwick Spice. Learn more at warwickspice.co.uk.
Hello and welcome to Reports from Arbroath. Our guests today are two women building excellent careers in cricket and cricket media respectively. Georgia Davis is captain of the Warwickshire side, leading the Bears through their historic first season in Tier 1 of full-time professional cricket. Georgia's off-spin is at the heart of Warwickshire's bowling attack and earned her an England debut last year against Ireland in Belfast, 237 miles from Arbroath. M. Marshall is a digital content producer for the ECB, her primary role to bring fans closer to the England women's team through social media. But Georgia and M both have unusual pathways to their career. Georgia was a police officer until 2023, and she quit the force to become a full-time cricketer. M obtained a degree in urban, regional and town planning from the University of Birmingham before becoming a cricket journalist. It's those unusual career routes that we want to speak about today, and the fact that work-wise you never know what might be around the corner. Georgia M, welcome to Reports from Arbroath. Georgia, patrolling the streets of Birmingham to patrolling Edgbaston from mid-off, that's quite a leap.
Yeah, it's very different, isn't it? It was kind of like something I always wanted to do as a kid, was be a police officer, and I watched The Bill when I was like real young, and then I was like, oh yeah, I really want to do that, and then sort of I went through the pathway at Warwickshire, and there was no professional game for me then when I was like sort of 18 years old, and I didn't want to go to uni, I didn't want to do that sort of thing, and then I actually applied for Derbyshire Police and didn't get in, and they were like, you've got no life experience. It was like 18 straight out of school. I know, yeah. It was like 18 straight out of school, and I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough. And then I had nothing else in my life apart from cricket, so I went and coached for Warwickshire through Chance to Shine. And then I just sort of still kind of wanted to go into the police and do something a bit different. I probably like sort of fell out of love with the game a little bit, and I probably needed something different. So then I applied for the degree apprenticeship at West Mids, and I got into that. And then COVID hit, and then I had to police through COVID, which was a really weird time. And then, was it 2023? Then I was like, got the opportunity to come turn pro, and I just couldn't really turn it down. Really, it's not something so the career path that isn't there forever, whereas policing kind of is there forever. So I had to go.
And of course, it was a career path, as you said, that didn't exist until very recently. I mean, when you were in the police force, would you ever have thought, well, one day I'd love to be a professional cricketer? That option just wasn't there. It's a sign of how women's cricket has evolved, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. When coming through, when I was a kid at Warwickshire, it was 2014, wasn't it, when contracts came in, even just for England. So I probably didn't even think, when I was coming through the age groups, I was ever going to be a professional cricketer. It just wasn't an option. So and then even then when I finished school, it still wasn't an option for me. So I had to go and coach and do other things. So to say now that kids can go through the age groups and then be a professional cricketer straight off the back of that is it's mental, really, because I would never have thought that would be the case.
And when the option came up to go fully pro, I'll take it was a no-brainer. You want to go for that because you enjoyed policing?
Yeah, I did enjoy policing, but I had to finish my degree before.
I was going to say, you got offered before to go pro, didn't you?
Yeah, so I when the first lot of contracts came out, it was a decision whether I go into the police or take a full-time contract. And I think looking back now, I made the right decision going into the police, because I've grown as a person massively, and I think it was just a better choice for me to do at the time. I think. Yeah, I'd fallen out of love with the game a little bit, just because it had consumed my life for however long, and I was coaching kids in schools, and I just had sort of lost my way with it a little bit. So then I went off and did something different, or something completely different in policing, and then I came back, and I'm so glad I did that, because I'm a completely different person from when I sort of started that role to now.
The police duty, I think, involves some fairly antisocial shifts, doesn't it? So how did that fit in with going cricket training and being ready for cricket?
Yeah, it was tough because I still played for Sparks like whilst I was doing it. So the shifts were tough. So like coming off a night shift into games was pretty horrible. But I'd try and sort of like keep all my annual leave for the summer, and then I'd take a lot. So like the 100 and stuff. Like I'd take a big bulk of time off during the 100 so I can go play that, and like my games and stuff. I'd sort of take annual leave for, and then I'd just train as and when I could around my shifts really.
Were the police supportive? Were you able to say, I've got a match net for it, can I adjust my shifts accordingly? Or
Look, I don't want to say anything bad because they were really good and they were really supportive of me, but it was kind of a situation where unless you were playing international cricket, you didn't get any time off which I understand as well. Like, you know, you've got a job to do. I've signed up to be in the police, so I got that. So, but like in terms of like, they did like pieces on me whilst I was there because it was like quite a big thing playing sort of semi-professional cricket, I guess, at the time, and being in the police. But yeah, no, I wasn't able to get any time off.
Just imagine when you were pounding the beating of Warsaw, and then suddenly, well, not suddenly, but then it transpires that you're playing for England at Betis. I mean, that's something that is pretty special, isn't it? Quite a leap.
Yeah, it was a bit of a leap, but yeah, I probably didn't quite expect that to happen, to be honest. But yeah, it was a real shock, to be fair, when I went and played in Ireland. But it was an exciting time. And I'm glad I did everything I've done. And like, I don't know where I would have been if I hadn't been in the police. I don't know if that's like whatever that's done to my career, but I think as a person, I'm so glad I did it.
Was there a particular member of the cast of The Build that you mugged and do police? I always had a soft spot for Reg Hollis.
There is. I can't like really remember any of them. The only and I can't remember loads of it. I just remember like I'd sit down with the whole family would sit down, like me, mum, dad, and my sister, and would just watch it, and I just wanted to do it. But then I remember an episode, one of the officers got shot, and I was like, oh.
And that made you want to go and be a police
And I was like,
officer.
I don't know if I want to do that anymore. And I was like, no, I do. Like, it looks fun. But it's nothing like the bill, so.
Oh.
And it's not, county cricket is pretty safe, isn't it? There's not too many shootings in that fort.
No, thank goodness. It's completely different. It's like, I mean, there's injuries, but there's nothing like being in the beat and dealing with really difficult people at times.
I think that a lot of people have got a lot of respect for the police, haven't they? Because you go into some difficult situations, don't you? And I mean, in professional sport, people tend to think it's the be all and end all. I'm guessing you've seen stuff that actually puts it in a bit of perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's like what I took from being in the police as well, is that like I know that if I have a bad day at cricket now, like I've actually seen things that are so much worse. So it's kind of like helped that respect. And I mean, you say people have respect for the police, but I didn't see much of it when I was policing.
That is fair. But I think that's the one thing, like, we've obviously been friends for a few years, like when G was in the police, like that was the one thing I saw. Like, one, I saw you get your love of the game back when you, like, we were in the 100 together when you had to bank all the annual leave up. And the way you spoke about it, like you were playing cricket and taking the annual leave because you loved the game again. Yeah. And then the other thing was the perspective that you had on life, and just the way you would speak about cricket and outside perspective showed that you'd actually had a completely different experience to what other people had had as well.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've seen a lot of things that people like will never see probably in their lifetimes, and
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with not seeing them.
Yeah, so fair. But like, yeah, it just means that like those bad days at cricket probably aren't as bad as they probably would have been prior to doing that. Definitely.
And in a way, the advances of women's cricket have come just at the right time for you, because it sounds as though you were getting your love for cricket back just as the game was igniting, the women's game was going fully brown.
Yeah, exactly. And the opportunities I've then had since all of that is incredible. Like, even like the stuff in the 100, like I don't think I probably, when we were at Trent Rockets together, like I feel like I probably didn't appreciate how good it was because I was still working at the same time.
Yeah. And you were watching others who didn't have to work at the same
and it's
time.
like, they could enjoy the experience a bit more.
Yeah.
And then like I kind of went off to Welsh Fire last year, where it's like the first time I've been in the 100 not had to work. And I just loved it. Like, I loved it, and like the opportunities that like cricket is given me now is incredible. Like, I've been to the other side of the world. Like, I've been like to so many different places, and it's incredible.
We're so lucky. But that would have been the norm though. What, 4, 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, for women's cricketers to have to work and do a job on the side. So it's amazing that isn't the norm anymore. And when I think of G, like if I ever talk about you, I'm not talking about you loads to my friends, but if I ever do, I'm always like, oh, my friend G, the cricketer. I always forget that you were a police officer as well. Like it's so unheard of for you to have those two things. But I almost forget that you were a police officer because to me, you're just a pro cricketer. And I love that is who you are to me. Like, I love that that's the norm now of what you are, rather than like a police officer, paramedic, an accountant and a cricketer on the side. Like, I love that you're like, she's my friend and she's a pro cricketer now.
Yeah. That you've got that opportunity to that's just your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's mad,
Yeah.
Well, George's career is going really well. It's a career that many aspiring women would love to have. And the same could be said of you men, travelling the world as a cricket correspondent, and that wasn't a logical path either. I mean, you studied planning, and so how did that transpire to be a career in cricket journalism?
It did make me laugh when you mentioned my degree in the intro. So yeah, I went to uni, as you said, to do a geography and town planning degree, which I loved. Absolutely loved my degree. Wouldn't change my degree for anything. But yeah, this cricket media kind of door opened, and I would say I just kind of went with it, and then somehow ended up here. But it was like what you said about like making your own luck on the previous pod. Like, it is kind of true. Like, I just kind of went with it. So when I was at uni, well, pre-uni, when I was at school, I did what every budding teenager did who had watched Zoella and Alfie Days and wrote a blog, basically. And I wrote a blog about cricket and my love of cricket, a bit about school. So I was resitting my A-levels at the time, so I wrote a bit about that. And then that got picked up by Warwickshire, and then kindly joined the Warwickshire media team that you were a part of, Bri, and then just came and sat in the press box and wrote. And is it written, wrote? You'll know. Wrote. Good girl. And just wrote about cricket, and came part of the media team there, freelance while I was at uni, which was a really good thing because I loved the contrast of like doing a degree on something completely different and then also having a bit of a side hustle that was working in cricket media, and just fell in love with the game a bit more and more. And then I feel very lucky that I got to grow up with these guys growing up to be pro cricketers as well. Like, that just as women's cricket was emerging into the forefront, I was kind of emerging at the same time. So I felt really lucky to do that because it meant that I could work in something I was passionate about, which was women's sport. I hadn't always been the biggest sport fan. So when I did fall in love with cricket and then fell in love with more sports, it was amazing to do that at the same time that women's sport was coming out of its shell in a way as well. And then I graduated, very happy, and the 100 was that first year that I graduated. And yeah, I got a role as a content creator for Birmingham Phoenix in the first year, and basically never looked back.
Some of what you said there really strongly echoes what Mel Farrell told us.
Yes, exactly.
And basically the gist of it was you make your own luck.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a bit of luck along the way, it helps.
It was and I definitely did.
Well, no work, you have to earn it, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you have to capitalise on it. And so for any young cricketers or aspiring journalists, I mean, it's keep on persevering, isn't it? And keep on putting yourself there.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I was lucky. Like, I was lucky the year I graduated. Well, went back the year I tried again to get into Birmingham University, because that was the only uni I wanted to go to. One, I was so glad I did because I had the best time ever. So again, like, persevere. Like, I was really, really glad I did it. It wasn't easy. But then I was lucky that I got pushed. I obviously was set back a year, but the year I graduated was the year the 100 came out, and those jobs were there for me. I was very lucky. And there was lucky in other ways. When Warwickshire asked me to join, there was a bit of a gap, and I just kind of made myself fit into that gap. But I could have also quite easily probably walked out of a press box that was full of men, and I didn't really have a place. No offence, you were very lovely. But there was a gender issue. But I could have easily walked away from that. But I was like, no, you've got to make yourself.
This is the thing that Mel touched on, wasn't it? She said she felt that as a woman, she had to do that little bit more, prove that little bit more. So.
And yeah, I probably did. But I kind of just took that in my stride in a way and was like, well, I'm not one to back down. So
in both your cases, it is a really good news story that you work hard, you seize your opportunities, and it for young women or young people, if the opportunities are there, first of all, you've got to do your bit to make them, and then go for it. And who knows what could lie around the corner.
Yeah, like I was in my last year at uni, I was applying for kind of both. Like my tutor was like, there's this planning degree apprenticeship, there's a planning masters here, like do these, like you could make a career out of it. And I was looking at them, and then there was another part of my life that was like the 100's coming, BBC had put grad roles out, I'd got a few offers for things, so I could then I was like very easy, had two options. And I think the planning one probably would have been the safe one because it's a normal career, should we say. We probably don't have normal careers, do we? We don't work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. That would have been the office job that some people want, but I was very, very pulled to the other side, and I'm really glad I did explore those opportunities and keep going with them and persevering.
Well, you've got that planning degree in your locker.
You never know. Could be approving your driveway at any time.
And similarly, Joy, I mean, Jeff Humpage famously, he was in the police force, a former Warwickshire player, had a really good career, played for England, then went back to the police force after his playing career. Could you see that happening? It's a long way down the line.
Yeah, it is a long way down the line. I think there's always the option that's there, and I think that's what's really good about what I've done. And I've got a degree, and I've got that experience in the police. Whether I see myself going back into the police, I'm not sure. I think, especially at the time that I was sort of leaving, I probably was in a bit of a sort of potentially a moral dilemma with the police a little bit. I think. Like obviously we know like the police do such a good job, and I joined the force because I wanted to help people, and that's what I wanted to do. And I think it can get to a point where you're sort of stuck with sort of the law and how that all works, and morally how you feel about things. So yeah, I think I'd probably struggle to go back in and do it again. But it's opened so many other doors in that. You know, there's so many more opportunities if cricket isn't something I want to, like, you know, if I don't want to go down the coaching route or if I don't want to go down anything to do with cricket, I've got something else that I can go into. Yeah. So,
women's cricket has now evolved to a degree where you can, if you wish, probably have a very long career as a player and then a coach that all of a sudden it's approaching the men's game in terms of stability, isn't it, and professionalism.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what's so exciting. I mean, I know I rip into you all the time, but she does. I do all the time about what you do and just that you take the photos. But what I'd say is that there's so many career paths in women's sport which probably was never there before. And so there's a young girl that comes to watch our games. She has from Central Sparks, and she still does Warwickshire games now. And her dad's desperate for us to go into the analysis side of the game. And I thought about it after I'd spoke to him about it. I thought that would never have been a thing. No. Do you know what I mean? In the women's game, a few years ago. Yeah. And the fact that her dad is that's something that he wants, and that she does alright, because I think she does it for a rugby team, a local rugby team that she helps out with, and to think that that's what. It's not just playing, there's so much to it, and I think that's just so incredible now that just wasn't a thing even 3 probably years ago.
Yeah. And so connected to that, and your job probably didn't exist.
No, yeah. I think probably, obviously social media has obviously grown as well, which again, very lucky that I probably grew up with social media as well, coming out, so managed to kind of not get ahead, but learn a lot of it while just using it as a teenager and a kid, and then obviously hopefully knowing a bit more about it now. But yeah, I think probably when the women won in 2017 was probably when it just started, social media just coming emerging and stuff like that. And then they probably around COVID 2020 was when these jobs kind of became permanent things. When I first started cricket and cricket media, doors open. I never thought that you could be a social media content manager for one of these teams and travel the world with them and do all the amazing things that come along with it ever. But
I do remember doing a match with you at Trent Bridge for Warwickshire, and you were doing the social media account for the Bears, and I handed you a very, what I thought was appealing statistic, and you looked at it with a sneer and threw it back at me.
I can't imagine myself being that rude, to be honest. That doesn't really sound like me, but maybe...
You were quite strong in saying, no thanks, bye.
I'd have said thank you. I'd have said no thank you.
Yeah, I think that was the gist of what you said. But you've both done brilliantly, and it's a great story. And Georgia, I mean, are you looking to play more for England, I guess, is the ambition?
Yeah, I think obviously that's always your ambition. I think like you always, like as a professional athlete, like you probably want to push yourself to get to the highest level you probably can. But like I'm really content at the minute with where I'm at with Warwickshire, and sort of like I'm in the early stage where I like captain in career really. So I like that's like my full focus at the minute, and how we progress as a team and how I continue to learn and grow as a captain at Warwickshire. So yeah, obviously England would be fantastic, and that's like, you know, your ultimate goal. But yeah, I'm really content.
That's a pretty good project in itself, Warwickshire, isn't it? Because it's brand new, isn't it? And you've got to shape it and see what you can achieve, and hopefully bring a trophy home.
Well, yeah, hopefully, and we're not doing too badly in the T20s at the minute, so we are going okay. But yeah, like it's a really new and exciting thing, sort of county cricket, and it's like extra special for me in a way, because Warwickshire's been my home since I think I started when I was like 10 at Warwickshire. So like, you know, 15, 16 years later, I'm now captaining them, like the first professional side, which is really special for me and my family really. Like Grandad played years ago, and my dad's played cricket, and yeah, like they, like I know they're so proud, and they love it.
Well, they spears as well.
My dad was, yeah.
That's good to see it. On the spin eating.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Warwickshire's spin attack is pretty impressive, isn't it? It's nice to see as well.
Yeah, 100%, and yeah, like Bakes is a young talent coming through, and she's one of my really close friends, and she hopefully she'll go on and be a real talent and get in England ranks at some point. And the same with Pav, really. She's a character, and she keeps everyone on their toes, and she's great. But like even her, like, and I think like what's nice to see this year is that we've got like a really young team, and I probably thought at the start of the year, I was like, oh, this could be quite tough, like captaining such a young and experienced team, and I'm like, I know I'm 26, but I'm still quite like, we're not on our team. We're young at 26. Yeah, we're young at 26. I keep telling myself. And I thought, yeah, it'd be really tough, but actually, like some of these girls, like Davina Perrin, for example, like we've known how much talent she's got and like how incredible she could be, but she probably hasn't consistently shown. Whereas this year, like she's consistently showing how good she can be, and that's really exciting for me. Like going forward in the next few years, if these players that are actually quite young players are consistently putting in performances, then yeah, we could be flying, hopefully.
The gap between women's cricket and men's cricket obviously is reducing. That process needs to continue, doesn't it? What from a cricketer's perspective and from a journalist perspective, what needs to happen? The 100 has kick-started that process, hasn't it? But what needs to happen for the gap to continue to shrink?
I think like we've had this like massive discussion at Warwickshire about this gap and how we close it, and I think it's just like the opportunities that we get as female athletes just being equal to male athletes. I think like we know that at the minute and probably for quite a while the pay gap's not going to change really, or like there's still going to be a gap, which I think is understandable. But I think what we as female athletes want more than anything, and I think that's probably across the board throughout all sports, is just that equal opportunity. And we are seeing it obviously more now where we're playing on first class county grounds, and we're getting so many more opportunities, but just continuing that process. So sort of Warwickshire have done really well this year in that they've given us the changing rooms, like built us brand new changing rooms, brand new gym. But I know that that's not like sort of across the board. That's not everybody. That's not happening. So I just think just continuing to push for just putting us on a level playing field with the men, and then just sort of, I suppose, looking at it from your point of view, it's just like the coverage of the women's game is obviously getting bigger, of course, and you know all of our games are live streamed and all that sort of stuff. But just keep like pushing for that platform to keep growing, really, isn't it? And being more in the public eye and more sort of on TV and keep pushing that side of it. Sort of, we've played one game on Sky this year, which, to be fair, I was a bit shocked when I knew that we were going to do it, but our Durham game was on Sky, and just like continuing to do things like that, and just growing it that way, I think.
From my point of view, I'd just say, yeah, continue pushing the equal opportunities, but through what we do. So if we do something with the men, we do it for the women. We try and do as much joint content as possible as well to show the level playing field that we are putting them on. And for the players, just turn up, be yourself, be open to, I know you don't love a TikTok, which I'm never going to get
Although in the 100 I was
TikTok.
sending you ones
Sending
to
me
do.
ideas, yes,
Sending you
thank
ideas,
you,
just doing your job for you. But
Just turn up, be yourself, and be open to doing what you're comfortable with in terms of a media point of view. Like, I wouldn't ask you to do a TikTok. There's other people I would, but I'd ask you to do something you're comfortable with. So when those opportunities do come, take them as well, because that is what is going to drive it forward to a certain extent. And people engage with personalities now as well. So show as much as your cricket side off as well, your personality, and your player side of being an athlete as well, off at the same time. But yeah, the 100's been amazing for that sort of thing. The way everyone turns up for that month and it's just like, this is an amazing competition, and really buys in to everything that goes on about it, not just the cricket, but the music, the fans, the content around it as well is amazing.
Well, it's sort of, I feel like the 100 brought in a different sort of audience, didn't it?
Yes,
a little bit.
yeah.
And like, obviously it did get a bit of controversy. Controversy was sort of the older cricket fans who think, oh, it shouldn't be a case, you're meddling with cricket. But I think like, especially for the women's game, like the 100 has just pushed it forward massively.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be in the position as female cricketers that we are now without the 100, and there is no question about that. So like I know people will have their opinions about it and about how it might have affected the men's game or whatnot, but for the women's game I think it's been nothing but positive.
And not just for the players either, like for people like me, like there was lots of different roles that the 100 opened up doors to, not just content but presenting, the junior reporters that came in, the DJs, the music artists. It's opened so many doors to not just the players, which is obviously amazing, but also to lots of other females aspiring to have a career in cricket or even just sport and finding that first open door. Like, I could choose a different sport in a year, but cricket's opened so many doors to me, that it did open so many doors to females, knowing that there was a place for them within either a team as a player or in a backroom staff role, but also in a sporting stadium as well for them, and to know that they could do that as well and do it within a female environment, because that's really important to me, is that...
Well, Georgia, you've both done brilliantly, and keep on doing more of it, and thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Reports from Arbroath is an Orion Creative Services production. To listen to more episodes, to read our blog, or to join our mailing list, please visit reportsfromarbroath.com.